Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Darts. Welcome to this beautiful Tuesday morning. It is 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to be talking about darts today. We're going to talk a little bit about Super Series 2, what took place there, some of the excitement stuff there in regards to winners, and some people that did really well. We're also going to touch base on RVB and what happened there. There was a post by him that I'll go ahead and read to you guys. There was a tweet that went out, and then we'll also be talking about the upcoming Premier League. So if you're new to the show and have not been here before, my name is Matthew. Again, this is Coffee and Darts, where we talk about darts and we drink coffee outside of the typical liquor that everybody thinks darts players drink. But it is 7 a.m., so no liquor here. And we're going to talk some darts. That's what we do. And we also have professional darts players on the show. We have manufacturers on the show. We have other YouTubers on the show, and others that are in the darts community. But today, it's just me, and we're going to talk some darts. So that's what goes on here. If you're ready to talk darts, give me a ton 80 in the comments. Excited to be here talking darts with you guys this morning. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, there's one thing that I do want to talk briefly about. I have a Patreon account where patrons, they give some of their hard-earned money to help support the channel, which is much appreciated. And I try and do something for them at least quarterly where someone wins at least a set of darts. And this quarter's coming to an end. So next Tuesday, I'm going to put everybody's name in a hat. We'll draw one and someone will get a set of darts. They'll get to pick from just the collection that I have. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, Scott. And in doing so, there's other things that I like to do. I think at Christmas, I sent everybody a set of darts at Christmas time. And so there's things that we like to do. I'm just pointing that out because we are getting ready to do that. If you wanted to become a patron, you head over to Patreon, look up Atomic Darts. You guys can get into that. And those that are in it on a consistency, basically during the quarter, their name goes in the hat multiple times. So they have more opportunity to win whatever it is that we're giving away. And I've got some stuff that I'm just going to send to my patrons in the next month or two that have come in or that are on order coming. So anyway, just want to let you guys know that that is available. I don't talk much about it, don't promote it much. So if you're not a patron and you want to go ahead and jump on that, there's 3 levels there. Just head over to Patreon and join on in. But I've got cool stuff to give. Like, I know I'm out of screen, but like I've got these newer sets that I think we'll give one of these away. One's a Michael Smith and one is a machine set. And then I've got some other stuff that we'll be giving away. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys that as people are coming in. So if you want to run over there and do that. All right. Let's go over this tweet real quick. This does come from RVB. He says, I would like to let you all know that I'm doing well now and that I feel a lot better than yesterday. So this week came out a couple days ago. I want to thank everyone who took care of me at the Marshall Arena yesterday, just to name a few people: PDC staff, security, my fellow players who helped me, and especially the paramedics who took care of me. They were fantastic. I can't thank you enough. Also, to all the people who messaged me and were concerned about me, I can't thank you all personally, but I would like to thank you all as well. I'm going to focus on myself, the training, and upcoming April 23rd. Hope that everyone will enjoy the games live on the couch again. So anyway, there's what he had to say. I haven't heard anything else really other than in that tweet as to exactly what happened. The PDC didn't put out anything that I saw, and I didn't hear any other comments. There's speculation that it was just basically low blood sugar, which is more than likely. I mean, it makes sense when we watch those matches. Like here, like I was watching them at 7 a.m. and I'm like, oh, cool. But over there, it's nighttime, it's late. Their day's been going on. If you're not eating properly, hydrating properly, that certainly can happen. So best of luck to RVB. Best of health to him. Gets a little bit of time off. He doesn't have any tournaments until the end of April. We do have the Premier League coming up, which we're going to talk about. And Premier League typically is like a one night a week, and it moves around. But because of the stuff that the world is dealing with currently, the Premier League's going to be like back-to-back nights for a section. I think they get a little break, and then they go back to it. And then they just announced that Milton Keynes will be where the finals are this year. It's been at the O2, so they have announced that recently. So interesting stuff going on. Let's talk a little bit about Super Series. Excuse me, I gotta drink some coffee, guys. Sorry, I haven't had any coffee yet this morning. I just brewed this. Sorry. Okay, now I'm feeling a little bit better. We're talking about Super Series. I do want to talk about one thing other than that, because I keep getting questions in regards to the cabinet. So Boom Darts makes cabinets. A gentleman on the East Coast makes these incredible darts cabinets. They really are beautiful. If you follow him at all, you see that he's been installing them lately. He made a cabinet for Atomic Darts for me last year. And then there were some issues with getting it shipped just because of the holiday and, of course, everything that was still happening from the COVID standpoint at the end of last year. Get into this year. The plan was for him to bring it out, and we were going to do a video together of him bringing it, setting it up, and we were going to do this really cool video. That was the plan. And it just, every week, either there was a snow issue or there was another issue that took place, or I was gone. So anyway, it just kind of just didn't happen. And then finally, we just agreed that we're going to truck it out here. I would do a video, me setting it up, and just show it off to you guys, because I'm totally excited about it. In any case, the trucking company got put on a truck, sent out here for delivery. They had another delivery out this way that canceled mid-trip because there were multiple shipments. And the trucking company, the driver decided he didn't want to drive to California for one shipment and took it back to Boom Boom Darts. Called him the day of delivery, the day before, and said, "Hey, we're delivering tomorrow." And he let me know. I'm like, all right, cool. And they did. They delivered it back to him, and he wasn't even around for the delivery. So good morning, Xandra. Good morning, Angela. Good morning, Daniel, Dave. Some bullseyes and brewskis here. Nice. You guys are killing it, though, Saturday nights, man. Loving the what you guys got going on. Good morning, Niels. If you guys haven't checked out Bullseyes and Brewskis, you got to watch that. That Roy and that team over there is killing it, having fun, just playing darts. You really need to go watch their stream, and they just have a great time. They're playing soft tips, so I don't know if that's really a sport. No, I'm joking, guys. They're over there having a great time with that. You certainly got to catch that. But anyway, so my dart setup didn't make it here last week, and I was saddened, but we've gotten that cleared up. And the trucking line that Boom Boom Darts typically uses was offline for delivery here to California. And there's some state issue reasons for that. Our state doesn't like businesses and doesn't like them getting their materials, but apparently that's been fixed. And so my cabinet will be showing up sometime soon. And I'm excited about it because it's the cabinet that holds all three dartboards. And so as you can see behind me, I'm still, I got the TV up, and I'm still trying to I didn't turn my lights on. Dang it, Matt. Such a waste sometimes. I forget things. But anyway, so the cabinet should be here soon. You guys will see that and get to see what these things look like, being put together and all that. But they're really pretty cool cabinets from what I've seen. Hold on, guys. I got to do this. It's driving me nuts. Okay, now I feel better. Just knowing that wasn't done, I would constantly be like, yeah, it'd drive me nuts for this time. So anyway, just me, OCD. Okay, so I do want to talk about the darts. And one other thing I want to show you guys, because I got these in the mail and there's a review coming out on them. But this is a new product by Viper, GLD products. It's the Cool Flights. These things are pretty cool. Before I do that, though, I do need to mention my sponsors. Man, this is just a Tuesday that isn't a Tuesday for me. It's a Monday. I got to thank Shot Darts for, of course, sponsoring the show. Shot Darts, as I have always said, they make pieces of art that we get to play. One of their pieces of art. Want to thank Magicwear jerseys. They really are some of the most comfortable jerseys in the world. And Condor flights and shafts. Really thankful for their axe system. So that's what I typically play. But I am showing you a different system. It's called the Cool Flights. It's a pretty, cool flight. It's another rigid flight that is a molded flight. These just hit the market. I think they're pretty interesting. Entry level if you're getting into this type of thing, because some of the molded flights have some cost to them. It is a consumable part about darts, and so they charge for it because we use a lot of them. But in any case, I thought it was a very interesting piece. You'll see that review coming out hopefully in the next couple of days. And just wanted to allude you to that there is another product out there, because I get asked all the time, what's the best molded flight? What's the flight I should use? What shape flight should I use? What should I, those are questions that I answered weekly from people that DM me in those questions. And the truth of the matter is we all know is you just got to find the one that works for you. So, and they all have some varying differences as to how they fly. This one happens to be a 400 micron flight. It is rigid. It does have a really cool, my camera will focus in on it, this ridge line at the top. You can kind of see that if the light hits it. It's down here and up top. I thought that was pretty cool. Just from a protection of flights, hitting flights. So anyway, just some innovations that are coming into the darts community. There are a bunch of barrels that will be hitting the market here soon. I know Shot has a bunch of new barrels coming in as well. Good morning, Mr. Hamilton. How are you today, sir? Good morning, Kenny, Gary, Dave. Okay, yeah, Xandra and the axe. Xandra just got a bunch of the axe stuff in because she's now sponsored by Condor. And so if you guys are looking for some stuff, I think she's got some to let you guys try out. Speaking of which, if you use the injury's doing much better, Bob. I'm not wearing the brace as much as I was. I injured moving all this stuff around in here. I tweaked my wrist right in here. I pulled something in here. I'm not wearing my brace as much, so it's coming along. I still am. When I throw, I've been throwing a little and practicing. After about 2 or 3 games, it starts to tighten up. It's not super painful anymore, so it's tightening up. But so there you go. I should be back to a playability, I think, in the next week or so. Don't know if I can still jump into league based on that, but I think I'll be able to actually play in the next week or so. Speaking of the axe, I have 3 sets of the long stem axe. I don't play the long stem. So if anybody would like to try these out, DM me, and I will send you a set of the long stem. I know that I will. I was just thinking the same thing. We have a great group of people on the chat today. Some of the best people in the world, as far as I'm concerned. It's great to see you guys. Let's get into, because this is going to be a good talk conversation. Please, guys. You like the long ones, Angela Mills. Well, DM me. Darts with Judo is here too. This is awesome. We're going to talk some darts right now. Let's get into, and you guys know how I love to talk about darts. We're going to talk about Super Series 2 and our winners. If you don't remember, of course, this was last week. Brendan Dolan taking day 1, and then the illustrious Gerwin Price taking day 2. Day 3 went to the Ferret, Johnny Clayton, and then the Snake decided to bite back and took out Gerwin Price in the final of day 4 or championship 8. So we've had 8 days, 2 Super Series. Now that I'm talking about the wrist, see, now you got me thinking about it. So some great play there. Wales where the heck did these guys come with these darts players? You got Johnny Clayton, you got Gerwin Price. These guys are killing it. I was really happy to see Peter kind of find some form, find some desire to win, and that was a great final day of Super Series 2. I think that was a great culmination. The fans, of course, are huge fans of these two particular players, so it makes it a lot of fun when they mix it up. I think we've all enjoyed, because they've got a friendship. They're on the same, I was going to say ship, but that's not, the same manufacturer in Red Dragon. That they see each other occasionally, not that like they're hanging out and they're buddies, but they've got some camaraderie there, and it's fun to see them kind of mix it up there. Johnny Clayton winning, it just, again, he's just proving that he belongs in the Premier League and that he's crushing it. He's doing well. Brendan Dolan, I think that was his 8th win. Great darts player. He's one of those guys that's kind of like a character. It kind of reminds me like Super Chin. There's not a whole lot of emotion there, except for occasionally. And Super Chin's gained that emotion, but if you go back to a couple years back, he wasn't super emotional about his play. He's gotten there as he's been on the bigger stages more. He's kind of created that character, that persona, the Super Chin bit. But Brendan Dolan, to me, he just kind of comes and he plays. I like that he's changing things up. He's mixing it up. He was playing faster, which seemed to help his game. But he's kind of like a character. He's kind of like the guy that's really quiet in the room, that knows something, and he knows something, but you don't know what he knows until he lets you know that he knows it, and that would be his darts ability. I think he's a great dartsman. Hopefully we can see him do more, especially on the bigger stages. So excited about that. Sorry, I'm reading comments. Yes, Daniel, I will say there have always been some good Wales players, but I mean, to see these particular two literally crushing it week in, week out has been pretty awesome, really, just to see. And the attitude of the ferret being like, this is just something I do. That's kind of, well, I don't know that that's really a good voice for him, but just his comicalness in regards to how he goes about it. But now he's like, all right, I'm a darts player and I'm a plasterer second. So I'm excited about that. Excited to see some really good darts coming up next week in Super Series, or not Super Series, but Premier League. By the way, if you're an Ultimate Darts card collector, which I would love to do, I have ordered a couple of them from certain players. I'm not going to name anybody, but I never have received them. I ordered one from a particular player whose book comes out soon, 6 months ago or something like that, and never received it. Got an email that it was shipping, never got a tracking number, nothing. I know Sharon was, I know that Sharon was talking about carrying some of the cards, and I don't know that ever happened, but I would like to get my hands on some of these things. I think they're awesome. I've got some space on the wall where we're eliminating some of the Funko Pops, and I'll have some space. I think they're really cool, but they have them for the Premier League. They're available over the PDC. I think there's some signed cards that you can get as well if you're interested in that. But I'm excited about Premier League. I think this is going to be fun. Let's see. Night 1 is going to be April 5th. Night 2 is April 6th. So again, these are going to be back to back nights. And instead of back-to-back weeks. So you basically, night 1 through 5 is back-to-back April 5th through the 9th. Then, of course, we have some other tournaments and other things happening. Night 6 through Judgment Night is April 19th through the 22nd. And of course, Judgment Night being where the first 8 nights, people get knocked out. See ya. Then we have night 10 through the 7th, going off May 5th through the 7th. And then we get a nice break. I don't know, these tournaments that they want to play in between. I don't know. We get night 13 through the playoffs, essentially. The playoffs is May 24th through the 28th. So a couple of solid months of darts where we just get night after night after night after night of great darts. Of course, we've got some fun players in there. We've got Gerwin Price. We've got Snakebite. We got MVG, which, I want to talk a little bit about MVG. We got the Dooza, which we need to talk about him in the Premier League, who won the Premier League last year, basically coming over from the BDO and really taking the PDC by storm. And now it's kind of like he's hiccuped. But this happens to all great players of all sports. The Asp is going to be there. We got Dancing Dimitri. I think that's a good pick in there. I think that having some young blood like that, I like the fact that those two are in there. Rob Cross is in there. I want to talk a little bit about Rob Cross because I'm a Rob Cross fan. I love what he did as a player, really coming in and taking that world championship when he did. And he's won some major tournaments since then. And he just hasn't really produced heavily like a lot of people thought he would. But that's very common in sport. You get a younger gentleman, Mrs. Atomic chiming in there, that does really well and, in big moments. And then in the normal little stuff, they just seem to kind of peter out. And that's kind of been his darts career in the PDC. But he's still a young guy. I can't believe I'm saying that, man. But I'm old and he's much younger. And I'm excited over the next couple of years, as long as he keeps getting it. And I think it's become a mental situation for him, much more so is the mental aspect. Bob Hamilton, I'm now thinking about my wrist more and I can feel it now. Thank you for bringing that up. I had kind of ignored it. Oh, well. Mental. See, it's the mental situation. And I think that's where Rob Cross kind of hiccups. Gary Anderson in the Premier League, I think that's definitely deserved based on his play from last year. It's going to be interesting to see his attitude as nights go. Is he just going to be steely-eyed and play? We'll see. My personal thing, we have the Ferret in there, Johnny Clayton, which that I don't even know why that was a last pick. I mean, he should have absolutely been in there. I wonder if it was more him not wanting to be there. I don't even know why that was even a consideration. I mean, the guy is just playing incredibly great darts, played really great darts last year. James Wade, in my opinion, should have been there based on his play from last year. And of course, what we've seen at the beginning of this year, but they had already picked. But in my opinion, James Wade should have been in there. This is a great type of tournament for him. And I think that was a miscue in that. We have Jose de Sousa in, which in reality is great darts showmanship as far as the program goes, putting up something out that people want to watch that's going to be fun show stuff. Do I think Jose's either going to do really, really well or he's going out at Judgment Night? But it's going to be fun because of his counting abilities, or his, I don't want to say lack of counting abilities. It's just his typical play style. And again, I'm not picking on soft tip in any way, shape, or form, but those that typically play a lot of soft tip, they're counting. I have that kind of issue because I play a lot of soft tip with Dylan. I have counting issues. Bottom line, when I go play a lot of, I play steel tip or I play in league, my counting ability isn't as good as it should be. Now, once I'm playing league for a few weeks and I'm playing more and practicing more steel tip and playing Dart Connect, which if you don't have, you really should get Dart Connect. I start to, the numbers start coming back to me in regards to that. But when I'm playing soft tip, it's not so much because I don't have to worry about it. And that's kind of the fun thing with Jose is he doesn't think as much about it from a steel tip because he played so much soft tip. So it's going to make it very interesting in Premier League with him playing because let's be honest, we've all watched him miscount. We've all watched him, like stuff that even myself would be able to go, oh, dude, that's your out. He totally does something different. So it'll be a ton of fun. I see you guys in here. Hedda, you think Hedda's going to win a world championship, huh, Mr. Hamilton? I just like saying that. You have just one of those last names, Bob, that's like Mr. Hamilton. It's pretty awesome. You think Hedda's solid. We saw some players come in last year that did well in the format of last year, and Hedda being one of them. And I think he has the game to do it. It's getting the mental capacity and getting over things. And I did want to bring up Lisa, which Mr. Hamilton brought up as well. Lisa did put up some killer numbers in the Super Series this past week. If you didn't catch that, she did get into round 3 and did one day. She had a couple hiccups, a couple of days there, but she did really well 2 of the 4 days, and she played some good darts. I think she's definitely bringing it up, and I think the girls' game is going to become something of a serious thing to be watching. Again, I'm hoping the PDC will put in some more stuff that's kind of ladies oriented. It would be interesting to do kind of a Premier League type thing with ladies. I think that would be kind of fun to see, or this, and I know there's this whole thing in darts, and I don't want to totally get into the subject, but there's the idea that we want to mesh all of the ladies and the guys together. The thing about it is there's a few ladies that really are at a level where they can play with the gentlemen. And again, this is not a sexist type thing. It's just how the game is played, the opportunities that are there. We need more opportunities to bring the ladies' game along. It's like any sport. There are levels that you play, and then once you get to a specific level, those that have been doing it longer, those that have had more money, more availability to do things tend to be better at it. The 10,000 hour rule. It would be neat to see the PDC do something that's kind of like a summer series for the ladies. I know that they did one last year, but more consistently throughout the year. They're going to get the eyeballs because we all love watching them play because they play some really cool darts, and they actually do some different things on a dartboard that we're not used to seeing because we're so used to certain ways of going about a dartboard using the numbers specifically, because some of it is a height situation and some of it is just a desire to use different parts of the board. They come up with different numbering combinations, which is kind of fun to watch. I think if they do that, that'll help bring the ladies into the men's game, and then you kind of can mesh that a little bit better. Just my opinion. So I'm hoping to see some more of that, and it will see some more ladies like Lisa Ashton in there mixing it up with the guys and doing well. I think she has been well received by the guys, and I think everybody that comes against her fears what her abilities are. She definitely can play darts. If you did not see the 150 checkout that she was a 150, no, it wasn't a 150. It was a 125 checkout that she put up, where she went bull 25 bull. You got to go back and watch that. It's on YouTube. It's floating around. That was phenomenal. There was someone else that tried to do the Lisa Ashton out. I don't remember who it was specifically, but they couldn't manage it. We should just call that the Lisa Ashton out. That was pretty amazing. So just looking at comments here real quick. So we're talking different things. Sorry, I'm just looking at all this stuff. Okay, cool. Nothing crazy. All the Premier Leagues make me play the men and stuff. Okay. Well, Angela, you're just solid. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. There's some ladies that can just hang, but I don't know. Angela, you and I talked. I know where you're at. I know where your game's at. Yeah, Xandra, I think she will continue to move up. Xandra mentioned that Lisa won. Xandra has a lot of love for Lisa. I know that they've met competitively. But I think Lisa's just a great player, and I love that she's really given it a go. And I think if she continues with this, she'll be in a position to retain her tour card, which will be awesome. And I really hope that we will see some other ladies get tour cards. But again, I think the PDC needs to do something specific so that players like Tori Kawish, who was on last week, and players of that nature really have the ability to continue to progress their game at a super high level that we see that the PDC does. I do want to bring up Danny Baggish because we got to talk about, I'm an American. We got to talk about the American that's over there pushing forward with the PDC. He did well. I think he's getting his sea legs, so to speak, his PDC legs, coming in. I don't think anybody expected him to just crush it, being the beginning of his first year with his tour card. But he is doing well. He did, I think, went third round one day. Got second round. I mean, he's been pushed around a little going out first round, but I think he's figuring it out. He's feeling more comfortable in the format as far as the hotel and all of that. You got to remember for Danny and those that were coming from North America that were playing in the Champ Dart circuit, they were doing it all online. It really wasn't an in-person situation. So for him to go over there, get his tour card and then have this in-person play and dealing with, the differences in time as far as play goes and everything, he's starting to get his sea legs, so to speak. And I'm excited to see how he does going forward with the next couple of series that come up. We're going to have a summer series and a winter series, and there's some other things coming this year where he will get to play in a little bit more. And I think my gut feel is, I don't know that he'll make a final this year. There's a good chance that he will. He certainly has the game to make it to a final and to win. But I think we will see him go deeper into some tournaments later in the year as he feels it out and as things come his way. Jeff Smith, talked about another North American, kind of like last year, he kind of felt his way through, but now he's consistently getting into the third round and beyond. He's playing very well. Another gentleman, I think, that retains his tour card, that's a North American. And I think we see Jeff do some really, really good stuff in some of the bigger tournaments this year. So excited to see where that goes. The gender division in darts is made up. This is coming from Mr. Hamilton. So, and this is where you and I kind of agree on things. It's, for me, darts, and this is what I've always said, it's a level playing field as far as the setup. The board's the same height, it's the same distance. All of that is the same. I think where the differences that come into play, and this is all sports, especially major sports, that we see when it comes to men and women at this point in time. There are some physical situations that come into certain sports, like football, and I can totally get on my soapbox on that one as to why women should not be in professional football. I have met a number of professional football players. The size of those people are just out of this world. The speed of the game at that, I tried out, stupidly enough, years ago in my shortness for a professional type football team. Yeah, it was. I wish YouTube was around then because I would have gotten bazillion views. The absolute speed and craziness when you get to the upper levels of any sport. F1 takes off this week, and I'm an F1 fan. When you look at the capabilities of an F1 driver, the speed, how much goes into a race, how much you're tuning that vehicle while racing versus karting, which I used to do, totally different situation. the whole go-karting thing. And I never even took it to like the next level. I always wanted to, but it's a money thing at that point. I mean, it was thousands and thousands of dollars to race those things. And now it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually get into the next level. Darts is the same way. So I'm bringing it back. See how I do that? Darts is really the same way when you think about it. I know that a set of barrels, a nice set of barrels should run you less than $100 for sure. 50, $60. You don't need to spend $150 on a set of barrels, but you can. You get some cool technology, and it's a matter of finding a barrel that feels comfortable that you throw. Flights and shafts and all that stuff can cost you, and depending on which ones you're using, and if you're not sponsored, you could spend a few $100s easily doing that. But then when you start going to tournaments and you start going and you're trying to move up in the echelon of darts, you can't just do that from your home. You can't just do that from your home league that you're meeting at down the street. And if you're younger, you may not have an opportunity to play in that league because it's in a bar. So you're not able to actually start your journey really in darts from a massive level until you're already old enough to almost be aged out of the younger darting type things, unless you're Humphreys, who apparently at 86 is still able to play in the youth championship. I don't understand that. But literally when you talk about North American darts, you're almost aged out of the youth darts when you get to darts. This is a situation. And then you go to the ladies side, it's just as bad, if not worse, finding the ability to play. There might be a youth tournament going on, but there may not be many girls there, or there might be one or two girls, and you feel intimidated going to a tournament if there's only two girls. Hey, Mom, let's do cheerleading. There's a lot of girls over there. Hey, Mom, let's do dance. There's a lot of girls over there. It's, so these are the hiccups and where that potential shift or break between men and women come into play. Guys will sneak their sons into a bar to play. They're not sneaking their daughters into a bar to play. My daughter, when she's 14, she's not going in a bar. It's not happening. So that's some of the big differences when it comes to darts, especially from a North American standpoint, is the ability to find places to play. And then when it comes to women, it's even worse off. And of course, here in North America, we don't talk about darts as being a sport. We talk about it as something you do in your garage. It's recreational. It's a game. You don't really do anything with it. There's no money in it, of course. So why would we actually care about the sport like maybe baseball, softball? Women's softball is getting some stuff. There's a pro league with that. Of course, you have to pay to play in it, but hey, there's a pro league. It's kind of that mentality, and that's kind of where things have gone with sport and darts in general. How do we change that? I think we keep working towards it. It will be nice once we can get back to actual physical play. I think having the online game has helped in a way, because we've seen some younger talent come around that, hey, they can play in their garage. We've seen them, trying to think of the young Russian girl if she's a teenager yet, who's killing it and, played some online tournaments where she may have not have had that opportunity had things been in face situation. She certainly would not have been playing some of the top talent that she was playing. So those are kind of some of the hurdles. And of course, as we get back to physical play, we have to correct those hurdles. We've got to bring the youth into the sport, and we have to allow them into venues to play. We have to give them a desire and a want to play the sport. And when it comes to the women playing it, the young ladies playing it, we really need to, kind of pursue and push that. Chicago Fire. I know. It's like, where did Chicago Fire come up? I like Chicago Fire, one of the TV shows that I don't have a lot of TV shows. I watch that and Millionaire Listing because I'm a realtor. I love that show just because I think it's funny. But Chicago Fire has always been something when I was little, I wanted to be a fireman or a fighter pilot super, super, super bad. And I did all the fireman stuff, and I ran around with the firemen at my local fire station that was down the street. So anyway, Chicago Fire, like that show, but there was an episode in this thing where they pushed about in women being firefighters. And it's funny, I have my wife's good friend, her husband's a firefighter. And I asked him about that and the women being in it. And really the comment was like, look, the reality is they're good. There's just not enough in it because nobody thinks about it. Nobody pushes it when they're younger. And I think that's kind of the same premise here when it comes to darts. And I'm hoping that the PDC and I'm hoping that Champ Darts, and I know it's on their heart to really push the youth and to push the ladies' darts. I will tell you that Champ Darts, that's something that's in the works. It's on the burner. It's percolating to really push a female piece to darts. It's in the talks on a consistent basis. It's going to happen as Champ Darts continues to grow. I recommend that you guys support them for sure, because that is something that they're going to get to is pushing that particular thing. I didn't want to get totally in a gender thing, but it is Women's Month essentially, and we are going to be doing a Women's Power Hour. We're just finalizing that. We're going to be doing a North American version of Women's Power Hour and talking darts with some ladies. So that hopefully will get recorded this week to air next week before the end of the month, but we might start off April that way. In any case, back to Premier League and the Dooza. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. What? Hey, Roy, send me some PayPal stuff too. What's up with that? Now, I will give Roy from Bullseyes and Brewskis. He did bring women's game into their channel by wearing a dress not too long ago. So props to Roy and the dressness for Bullseyes and Brewskis over there. Let's get into the Dooza. And yes, Sandra, I know that the whole COVID thing, he dealt with COVID, as as far as that. I've heard him say since then, in his mind, it necessarily isn't that being the issue. I think it's more of a mental thing. And that could be part of it. Like he's still mentally kind of dealing with, that process. But he really just hasn't, since Premier League last year, he really hasn't played. It's almost like that was his way of putting his stamp on the game. I came from the BDO, 3-time world champion. From the BDO, I came over here and people said, oh, those that come from the BDO, that's kind of that's not real darts. The PDC is where it's at. He came over and kind of punched people in the mouth and said, wait a second, you don't know who I am. Let me show you how to play this game. And then he complimented everybody whenever they interview him, which kind of pisses me off. It's like, dude, it's okay to tell him, hey, you know what? He sucked. I was better than him. Bottom line. I don't know. It's cool that he compliments everybody. It is, but it's like he put his stamp with that. I won the Premier League, which is supposed to be the premier darts players from the PDC. This is supposed to be those top guys from the year. And, these are supposed to be the players that everybody watches. And he came out and he dominated, He literally dominated the Premier League, winning the Premier League, and it seemed like he fell off from that. I think a little bit. I think a lot of it has to do with mental. I think this is just a slump for him. I think he will come back. It will be interesting to see how he does in the Premier League. Here is based on what I've seen of late, he goes out Judgment Night. I'm throwing it out there. You guys got it. It's recorded. It's out there. He goes out Judgment Night, which is will be a shame. And that's I think that's where that's gonna happen. I'm trying to think. Do I want to say who I think wins the whole thing? Right now, Johnny Clayton's got, I think, the best shot at winning the whole stinking thing. Just the way he's playing, and being that it's consistent back-to-back nights, it's not, a week with some other tournaments built in, in between it, so I think we're going to see him. In my opinion, I think he's got probably the best shot when I look at the lineup there. But don't be surprised if Gary Anderson comes from out of nowhere and takes this thing. That's my long shot guy to win this deal. MVG, again, I think MVG just is kind of checked out on the sport. I don't think he's comfortable with his barrels. I know he's been switching back and forth. I don't think that he's comfortable with what's going on from a management perspective. He's got stuff going on with the family. I just think he's in that series of life, that season where darts isn't as important. My thing is he's probably going to have average 3 or 4 years. Kids will be a little bit older. There'll be a little bit more fire to come back. And then he comes back, he wins a couple world championships, he crushes it, and then he vacates the sport. That's my thought on MVG. He does not have that killer instinct that he once had. He doesn't have, and I got to tell you, kids will do that to you. I mean, when we're younger, man, there's things that we will do to get ahead. Kids get in the mix, and you stop thinking about doing some of those things. That's just kind of bottom line. The killer instinct will dissipate and come back, though. That's kind of the fun thing, is the killer instinct will come back, and it comes back with a vengeance, especially for sports type people, athletes. So, and I do think that darts players are athletes for sure. Dave says top 4 will be Clayton, Price, Wright, and MVG. Price will certainly be in there. I think he's proven it. He's done his stuff. Of course, 2 years back, Premier League, he just was that was a mess. Last year, did well. I think he does well this year. I think the format suits him. I think being world champion sits well on his shoulder. Being world number 1, I think sits well on his shoulder. And I think this is going to be kind of fun to mix it up with the names of the sport night after night after night. And I think it fits his playability versus playing, having the time off, playing some other tournaments, and then coming back and playing Premier League and so forth. I think this fits him. I think top 4, I really agree with you. Peter Wright, MVG, kind of the same thing. Peter won his world championship. And it's kind of and then last year just was taken away from him due to the whole COVID thing, which in my opinion kind of crushed his spirit. Hopefully he's back on it and he's gained some of that desire to get it. He lost out. I feel super bad for Peter Wright, who I'm a huge fan of, missing out on what a world champion should have gotten for the year. I think as we see things open back up in other areas of the world, and I think we'll see things open back up more so, Gerwin's going to get some of that. I hope that pushes Peter to want the world championship again, so that this next year he comes in with a fire in his gut when it comes to the world championship. And we'll know that based on his antics when he first hits the stage, where he's at. And hopefully he'll come in and just dominate and then get it back and be able to enjoy the world championship type thing. I don't think MVG's there. I don't think he's top 4. I just don't see it happening. I think he'll do well. I just don't see it happening. We will see. Darts, that will be back here shortly. Excited to see that and see where that goes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun talking darts with you guys. We will continue this conversation on social media. Feel free to DM me during the week. I do have people that DM me and we chat it up. There are some darts that are going out to some of you in regards to the B52 soft tip for review. I'm just throwing that out there so that you guys can keep an eye out for that. But there are some of those coming your way. And again, I just want to bring up that I do have a patron account over at Patreon, and I will be drawing a name next Tuesday for someone that's going to win a set of darts. They get to pick from darts that I have floating around here that I have reviewed or that I just happen to have in the pile of darts that I have. So you'll get that option. If you want to get in on that, you do need to be a patron. And you can head over to Patreon and jump in on that. And of course, the longer that you're a patron, the more times your name per quarter is in the mix. And then I'll be sending out some stuff to my longtime patrons. I've got some stuff for you guys that's coming in that I've ordered just to send out to you guys. Don't forget the beautiful sponsors that we have, of course, Shot Darts making artwork that we get to throw. I just love those guys over there. They are phenomenal, just people at Shot. They really care about the darts community. I know that Peter, the principal over there, if you message him, he'll chat it up with you. He'll chat up darts with you. I don't know how many people have said, hey, like I talked to Peter. Like, he's called me out of the blue to have conversations. So good people over at Shot Darts, as well as making incredible product. They have some really neat barrels hitting the market. They're extending some of their lineup with some of their new players, like Boris, like Ryan Murray. So look for some cool stuff coming. They are doing some additional Zen lineup pieces, which I'm probably not supposed to say that, but I just did anyway. They've got some other really cool darts related pieces that'll be coming, peripheral type items. I think you guys are going to like what they're doing, and they've got some new series that they're working on. So I've had the opportunity to see some of the artwork, and it's going to be pretty cool stuff. So look for that. Also got to thank Magicwear, again, a wonderful shirt company, Jen Mounts, of course, running that show over there for the A to Z team. And she just does a really great job. If you guys need an off the shelf, you can certainly go buy it. But if you want something semi-custom or custom, they do it. They love to work with teams. And as we get back to in-person play, that's going to be something to do. So do that. Condor, Flights and Shafts. I play them. Xandra plays them. They make a really great product. I personally like the axe system. It does have a different flight trajectory, just letting you know up front. Angela, if you want to try them out, DM me. I know I have your address somewhere, so I'll send you a set of these. Thanks again, guys, for checking this out. I do have some interviews that are happening this week, so we'll have some more interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, and we got some cool darts that'll be happening. We got a little bit of a break, so go watch some F1 because I know you guys are all big F1 fans just like me. Thanks again for watching this episode of Coffee and Darts. Much appreciate all of you guys. Don't forget to go check out Patreon. Just look for Atomic Darts, and you can become a patron and have an opportunity to get some really cool stuff along with freebies that get thrown out from time to time. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful Tuesday. And if you want to chat it up about darts, just DM me. Be happy to talk to you guys. Have a good day.